I'm back from my hibernation, and don't you worry, I've not been kidnapped and I've been taken to some maniac secret apartment, whatever. My room's just been rearranged, that's all. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about my opinion on Modern Warfare 3's campaign. I just finished it yesterday, I just started playing it 2 days ago, and I'm here to just say it's not great. It's not good, it's not bad, really. In my opinion, I just think it's okay. That's just me. That's just what I think. If you've played it, what do you think? I'd like to hear your opinions. I'm open to hearing different opinions on certain things, like things I'm interested in. But this, I'm disappointed in how the plot turned out. So I'm going to add in some spoiler alerts because I don't know how to explain it without trying to add spoilers. But if you don't want to hear spoilers, click off immediately. That's all I'll say. Just click off. Don't think about coming in here if you don't want any spoilers. Just click off. With that being said, I'll start to explain why I think it's not great. The story felt all over the place. I mean, I can see what they're trying to do, but it wasn't executed well. It was like Ubisoft's way of executing some games of theirs. Like, I'll give one example, Watch Dogs Legion. The story could have been better. It wasn't all over the place, but it just wasn't executed right. That's the best I'll put it. The story just didn't feel so perfect. The plot just felt here and there, and I'm just like, okay, but what about this? What about that? And, okay, now this is another part where I'll get into spoilers. There's just one character you play as who's in the first mission. Oh, and I should say this quickly before I get to that subject. There were only two missions in the game which I really liked. Spoiler alert, the first mission and the stadium mission. Those two missions I thought were good. I thought they were excellent. Anyway, moving on to what I was going to say earlier. There's this character who appears in the first mission. You play as him. He's one of the bad guys. He works with the main villain, Makarov. And you never play as him again. You only play as him once. And you never play as him again. He's never reappeared. I mean, he does reappear, but you don't play as him. We don't get to dive into depth as to why Makarov trusts this guy. We just introduce him like, here's who you're playing as for this mission. He's an evil villain working for Makarov. You get to free Makarov. Well, it's not exactly like that, but it's like thingy. He's introduced like in the middle of the mission. Like it turns out, oh, we're working for Makarov, and he's never played as again. Like he's just saying, like in this one cutscene where Makarov promotes him to become leader, and later we don't see him for a few more missions. We see him in a few cutscenes, and then later we see him in the final mission where we capture him, and then he's never brought up again. They just say, yeah, we got him. He's fine. We're interrogating him and everything, and then he's never brought up again. We never see what happens to what else happens, and that's it. He's just like thrown away like it's that. And let me just get into the no Russian mission because a lot of people are upset about that. Now this is where I might cause a little bit of havoc in my comment section. I think some of you will start arguing with me. Some of you might say, okay, because I'm a bit mixed on the new No Russian version. All I can say is that the classic No Russian is a timeless classic, but this version of No Russian felt believable, however, not as shocking as the original. Now, what I say when I say believable is that when you look at the original No Russian from another angle, some of it didn't quite make some sense. For example, you play as a CIA agent. I'm sure a lot of you know that. You play as CIA agent Alan. You play as him. He's he's pretending to be part of Makarov's group. He goes to the airport with Makarov. They shoot up the place together. Well, you don't have to shoot up the place because Makarov's got more men with him, and they shoot up the place. But the thing is, when that mission's over, the police didn't bother to do a checkup on who the other four guys were, that being Makarov and his cronies. And they were just like, an American man? He came into this airport with four guys we don't even know about, and we didn't do background checks on? Okay, let's all go to war then. Like, that didn't make sense. Another thing that didn't make sense was, how did Makarov and his cronies and Alan not get caught carrying weapons into the airport in the first place, like into the elevator? I think they should have... If I was in the past reviewing this, I think they should have thought well into that and maybe say, well, maybe Makarov's got some men undercover in the airport who smuggled guns in. piece by piece, and later Makarov reassembled them in a private area where there aren't any cameras. I think they should have done that. Maybe they did hint it. I'm not sure. But anyway, this version of No Russian, to me, in my opinion, felt more believable. Like, it felt more realistic. But it wasn't so shocking as the original to me. Now, I need to argue about this, and some people are just saying it's unrealistic because there's a woman who's overpowered a man. Well, here's the thing, she's an ex-militia fighter. If you look at the background, in the texts, not the background, the texts that, like, pop up in always, in the beginning of every mission, it will say, like, who they are, what they are. Like, for example, some mission, spoiler alert, you play as Captain Price, it says, Captain Price, 141. Her, it says her name, and then it says ULF, which is a faction in the game, which is like the Uzbekistan Liberation Force. They're like a militia. And I just have to complain about it because some people are saying it's a woman who's so strong and she overpowers a man who just happens to be a terrorist. If this was a man instead of a woman, I doubt people would. I wouldn't complain. I wouldn't complain about it because one, it's just he as an ex-militia fighter. I just think the criticism about it because she's a woman is dumb. That's just me. That's just what I think. You're free to disagree. I don't know, but it just throws me off a bit. That's my point. But this version of Russian, not as shocking, and I was a bit let down because I hoped it to be shocking, but it did surprise me a bit. But the original, I think, was most shocking. Again, my opinion, please do not treat it as a fact. Please don't say, oh, how dare you say that? How dare you? This will always be superior. This is just my opinion. My opinion, not a fact. Please remember, this is just an opinion. They shouldn't be fact. And I don't want people to ever treat it as a fact because, okay, I want to go off subject a bit and highlight this because it's frustrating. People online attack other people for having different thoughts on something or not sharing the same thing in common. I've just seen it in some of Mutahan's comments on his opinion on this version of No Russian. Like, there was one comment where some guy said this was better. It's clear it was his opinion. It shouldn't be a fact, but people in the comment section decided to pick on him either way. And I'm like, this is just his opinion. Different people like different things. Leave it be. Anyway, sorry to go off subject there. I had to rant about it because it's just so frustrating about how it's everywhere online and nothing's being done about it. Like, I think more people should speak up about it. I know it's the internet, I know, but it's just so frustrating and childish that people would just be upset that someone has a different thought on something. Anyway, that's just my thoughts, but anyway, review over. I give this game a 5 out of 10, and that's just not the greatest thing for me to do. The last two Modern Warfare games that came out this year, the rebooted ones, 1 and 2, the campaigns were good. The first one being the best, in my opinion. Anyway, that's all I'll say for today. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Do you like the game? Do you dislike the game? Do you hate it even? Do you love the game, perhaps? I'm curious. I'm very open to hearing what your thoughts on this are. I just saw that Critical didn't like the game, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. But anyway, yeah, that's all I can say, really. Take care.